I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube, joined by Ryan Bowers. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, and it's a pleasure to be back on your channel.
Darnell Weeks will join us here later, so we'll start this. We're going to discuss Halloween 4, 5, and 6 tonight. So I want to thank you for giving me your time, you guys, your time. I'll thank Darnell when he comes in too. But so Halloween 4, they filmed this in Salt Lake City, I believe, in Utah.
Yes, correct.
And it stars Donald Pleasance, Ellie Cornell, Danielle Harris, Sasha Jensen. Bo Starr is in this movie as well, Sheriff Ben Meeker. What I liked about this is the opening is all countryside. What did you think of that?
You know, my first thing is like I didn't hear the Halloween theme play right from the start. So
Right.
that was something different and creative. And then when you get the shot of the tractor with the little witch, and I don't know, I can I can say that all Halloween fans agree that that's probably the best opening shot of a Halloween movie.
It really gives it sets a mood, where I think 4 really tried to channel the original the most, more so than 2 even a bit. That its opening was unique the way 1's was, where we had this opening of the theme and then the kids saying about trick or treating and stuff, and then Michael, walking, standing, and then walking, and we watch it from his point of view. This, we're sort of watching the countryside, which sort of reminds me of one a bit where Donald Pleasance is standing in the countryside calling the cops, telling he's on his way.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that 4 is sort of somewhat calling back to 1 a bit with this.
Yeah, I love that too because just like in Halloween 1978, Halloween 4, it feels like a small community. Like you don't see that many people. And like you said, with the opening scene, it just feels like you're alone and you don't even supposed to be there with the shots that they're showing. And just I don't know, I like it. I like that small town feeling. And with the Blumhouse stuff, it don't really seem like we're getting that. And that's why I love the old movies so much, like Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and even Halloween 6 smelled it just felt like a small community and everyone knew each other, and I like that.
I can relate. My wife is from a smaller city than what I am. Like where we live, Connesville is very small, and it even has a small hospital. It doesn't have a large, big city hospital. So I can sort of relate to all the older Halloweens because when I see this small town in the Midwest, well, my wife's from a small town. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Like
know,
everyone knows everybody, and
right.
you
Every,
know,
every, everyone knows who you are, or like who your wife is, who your kids are, who your neighbors are. It's like, yeah, yeah, hi. I just saw you yesterday, right? Sure.
I know, right? You spending 2 hours in the grocery store talking about a conversation and all that.
Right. Right. So this is really interesting. What did you think of? Yeah, here's this little girl, Danielle Harris, who gets not just put in Halloween 4, but gets asked to play the daughter of, Laurie Strode, who was played by the legendary Jamie Lee Curtis. You talk about weight of the world on a little kid's shoulders, and she handled it very well. What did you think of her?
I think as a child actor, I never seen anyone do a better job than her. Other than the dude that played Home Alone, he did a great job. But
Right.
Danielle Harris, she came in and she did a great job. And um she probably didn't know the significance of being Laurie Strode's daughter at that time.
Right.
But she held the franchise up as a little kid, and no one can deny that.
Right. I think she really carried the ball very well in this movie. I think they make you wait long enough to see her, because the opening, we see the countryside opening, but then we go from there to a night scene, the rain, that, and the ambulance is driving up. And at first, when I first watched this as a kid, I thought this was going to be Smith's Grove. And I was actually pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was kind of confused as well. Like I said in one of my older videos, when I first seen Halloween 4, I didn't really think it was a Halloween movie because it just seemed a little bit different from the 1978 movie. And, the Michael Myers was shaped different. But when I first seen him in the hospital in a coma, I was like, oh, he's alive. And, when they transported him, the first thing I was like, why are they transporting him on Halloween in the rain? And one thing I was always confused about, even to this day, I'm kind of confused. Like, was Michael Myers actually there, in Danielle Harris's room, like when the ambulance was outside and she seen it? Like, was that actually him? Oh,
I My best get, I have a theory about this. Now, remember when when she sees the ambulance, she's having a conversation with Rachel at that time too. I think that whole conversation with Rachel on the couch in her room, it's in Jamie's room, I think it's all a dream. I really, like, from then when we first see her, she's talking to Rachel. She says, "Do you love me like a real sister?" And then she's looking out the window, and we see the ambulance, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm
yeah,
like, oh shit, right? But it's like, wait a second, that, how did she know? Like, how does she know the ambulance on site? We just saw it. So as Rachel leaves, I'm thinking, and then she walks around. I think that whole sequence is one big dream of Jamie's.
yeah, it could be. And it's also, I don't know if you caught this, but it's a shot where they show the window and the branches.
Yeah.
And I try to look for Michael. Is Michael somewhere in the background in that scene?
I'm not sure myself. I've tried to like stop it and like zoom in, but they do a real, if he is, they did a good job at hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered. I was like, did I miss something right there? But yeah. So what you trying to say is like, um, when she was in the closet or whatever, that was a whole dream sequence.
Right, when they find her, when she's screaming and they all come in, their step parents, and then Rachel, she's in the closet crying. I think she was in that closet looking at the picture of her mother, because remember, it's October 30th. That, the night of October 30th. That's the one thing. Another thing they do really well too, with paying homage to the original, is October 30th, Michael escaped in 1978. October 30th, 1988, 10 years later, he escapes again. I love that they do this. The only difference is we get a young, fresh baby face in Danielle Harris, playing Jamie Lloyd. And when she's in that closet, she's crying, and what's she looking at? Pictures of her mother. I think subconsciously, as she was looking at she just fell asleep. And then she woke up crying. She screamed. You can scream out in your sleep. I've heard my kids do this. So I think she was screaming out in her sleep. And then that's when they came in. So that sequence we see on the couch isn't really happening between her and Rachel, because your subconscious you can carry a conversation in your open subconscious. I've done this. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but in my dream, I dreamt Hell on Halloween Night in Collinsport. That's how I came up with Michael and Barnabas coming together. And I was having a conversation with John Tate, of all people. so, so, which was very fucked up and weird. But because we're both from the East Coast, so when you see snow, it's nothing new. So when I saw snow in my dream, it was nothing new to me. It's like, well, I'm obviously on the East Coast, and he I looked over because I didn't know who the hell was driving the vehicle, and there's Josh Hartnett, there's John Tate, and I said, hey, what's up? And he's coming for me. I'm like, oh shit, and I knew who he meant. I'm like, oh shit, why me? And like the vehicle slid, he hit a sheet of black ice. He crashed it into a guardrail. His nose was bloody, and I even wrote this whole sequence in the story. He walked, and then when he got to a sign, and this is how I knew it was going to be Collinsport. He shined his flashlight up, and it said "Welcome to Collinsport." And then I saw the fishing town, because Collinsport is a fishing town. I saw the small fishing town, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I woke up, and then the rest came to me. But so yeah, subconsciously in your sleep, you can carry a conversation. So that's why I think her conversation too in 1988's Halloween 4, that's why I think Jamie's conversation with Rachel is just one big dream.
And another thing with Halloween 4, the writers, in 1988, for
Right.
them to come up with this storyline of um Jamie Lee Curtis having a daughter,
Right.
and I mean that was ahead of the curve at that time, because I mean in the 1980s it was just slasher this, slasher that, no storyline.
Right.
So I like what they did with this, and then introducing the Cult of Thorn. Not that many slasher movies went that route, or knew about that, and I just wish more fans would appreciate that.
How I love Halloween 6 because there's the late great Mitchell Ryan's in it. They channel a bit of Dan Curtis in Halloween 6. I truly believe
Yeah.
they were taking a page out of Dark Shadows and using a cult, only it wasn't the cult of Judah Zachary. But we'll get into that. I promise that's going to be a lot of fun. Halloween 4, what did you Donald Pleasance reprising his role as Dr. Sam Loomis, I think, was really important for them to bring back a familiar character to sort of make sure they had familiarity. How big do you think it was to get him to come back?
That was a huge thing, and at the time, I don't think Donald Pleasance was really doing too much. He was on the back end of his career, so he was just really doing it for fun. And Halloween was probably his biggest film anyway. But seeing him come back in Halloween 4 and walking down that aisle with the cane and saying, "Why wasn't I notified?" I just get a pop every time I see that. Like, why wasn't I notified?
Right. I love you let them take it out of here. Hoffman, how could he's cutting a promo on him.
I know, and he he showed his hand on him, got burnt, and then I think somebody walked up in the background and he tried to cover it up.
I was shocked he did cover it up. I was shocked he didn't just turn. See what he did. That's one thing when I go back and watch Halloween 4, I keep waiting for Donald Pleasance and Sam Loomis just to show the hand to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, see this? See the hell I went through like 10 years ago? Which would make sense because, I mean, he's trying to convince people that Michael's still dangerous. And he's telling one doctor, I love but when they find the ambulance and Hoffman's trying to reason with Loomis that the body just got thrown, and
Yeah.
Loomis is having none of it, right?
Yeah, Loomis just like look at everybody like a dumbass in this movie.
Like if you don't find Michael Myers, I will.
I know, right? And another funny part, like when he was talking to Sheriff Meeker, and I think they had came in contact with the dog, and he was like, "You're starting to spook me, Doc."
Yeah, he's like, at least
And
I'm
it's
not.
almost like Loomis got a rise out of that.
He's like, at least I'm not alone. It's like God, I love. What did you think of Bo Starr in this movie? I was Sheriff Ben Meeker.
Uh, he's the best sheriff in the Halloween franchise. Um, it was believable. He actually like took charge
Yeah,
as being a sheriff, and he almost had like the best plan you could possibly have to take down Michael Myers. That's how I feel. And they showed his family. He had a daughter, so you know, I like that.
I really liked it. Right, we know that in 1978, Sheriff Lee Brackett did have a daughter. His daughter gets killed too, which I find it interesting that Ben Meeker's daughter gets it in this movie.
I know, right?
I love that they kill her in the house downstairs. Michael just gets up from the chair. This is one of my favorite scenes in Halloween 4 when he's just sitting in that chair, rocking chair, and she thinks it's the other cop. And he gets up and just takes that shotgun and shoves it in her.
And one thing about that scene too is I think deep down you can tell that she knew it was a possibility that that could have been Michael. Like she knew something was off about that whole situation.
Right, she's lighting the she's bringing in the coffee, and she's like, "Oh, wish they'd have the power on so we can listen to, watch MTV or something." And she's lighting the candles, and as she's lighting them, she sees the that cop's face, and his hands are all like he's like folded in half, and she's like, she does this terrific, not scream, but sort of like half squeal, like panic, like she's hyperventilating, and then when he gets up, it's just like, and then they hit the. I love how Halloween 4 uses the score in this. They time it perfectly.
Yeah, like like I said, overall, Halloween 4 is a great movie with great actors. Um, what you thought about Brady?
Got what he deserved.
Yeah, oh, I
No,
can't blame him. I can't blame him for the situation though, but
I think it's interesting because at first he shoots the shotgun, and at the at the door he forgets to reload it, which is a classic movie mistake everybody made in the 80s. um
and another thing, hold on, why you on that? Because I might forget. You know, with Michael Myers and the whole situation being chaos, you remember he shot the door and he was like, "Oh, it's hot," and Rachel was like, "What does that mean?"
right.
And it just showed that they was in so much fear that everyone was just confused and just trying to hurry up and get out.
He said we're trapped in the house after that, and it's metal. You're right, it's a real panic induced situation that Michael has created for them. And when they go upstairs, he points the gun at Michael coming up the steps. He's like, no, and then a gun clicks. I'm like, yeah, you forgot to reload the gun, dude. And
Yeah.
I love how he takes the butt of the shotgun, which I've when I was a kid, I held a shotgun, and those things are so awkward as hell.
Yeah, it really is.
And he swings the butt. I love the Ash Sasha Jensen. Was it awkward to sort of swing that, or did you almost lose your balance? Because I know it just looks awkward, him like swinging it, and he connects, and then Michael blocks him and just kills the shit out of him. What did you think? Well, before we, what did you think of Ellie Cornell's performance as Rachel Harris in this movie, or
Well,
Rachel Crowder's?
if there was no Jamie Lee Curtis in the Halloween franchise, this would be the number one final girl. Put it that way. I mean, she did everything right. Um, she had the audience, sympathy for her. I mean, Brady was doing this thing. We felt sympathy with that. Then she had little Danielle Harris going through her situation, and then she's trying to live her life, be a good girlfriend, but things not going her way. But at the same time, she's still looking out for everybody. And even when she went over to Sheriff Meeker's house and seen old girl there, I mean, she still was professional about it, because she was her love for Jamie, and that's a real final girl.
Yeah, I really like how at first she doesn't want to babysit her, but then she has to, and she sort of tries to explain to her boyfriend, and he's sort of being a dick to her, and then later on when she sees him, you really feel sorry for her because she does care for Jamie, but she also wants a normal life as well. So it's a real interesting story that they put in here. What one of my favorite Another one of my favorite parts is when Rachel is walking down the alleyway by herself and she sees what seems to be Michael Myers walking toward her, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she just runs, climbs the fence. What did you think of we had three Michael Myers impersonators in this movie. What did you think of that?
Uh, I have a love-hate relationship with that scene. Um, but as far as like Ella Cornell running from him,
Yeah.
when she first seen it, it almost like she had a panic attack and like stopped. Like she didn't know what to do. She was like, "Is this it?" She didn't really holler or nothing like that. She kept her composure, but at the same time, it's almost like, you ever had like sleep paralysis
A bit.
where it was she was almost like that. Like, she can't really scream or move. She was just stuck there.
Yeah.
But anyway, she ran and all that. Then, Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Meeker came. But at that point, when them three Michael Myers, the sheriff should have shot off a shot or something. And I don't know how they didn't see Michael in the back of them, when they pulled off. Even the kids that ran off, I don't understand how they didn't see that.
I think remember when they back up and sort of turn around, I think they back up if I'm not mistaken, and turn around. Michael's standing there. I think Michael's just finally making his way back into town from killing the electrician. And so those three impersonators, I I love this scene a lot because it builds so much. I'm with you. Somebody should have fired off a shot. The only difference is this isn't Hawkins. They're going to hit when they shoot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Sheriff Meeker gonna have three dead teenagers. Oh.
Yeah, they've been to the gun range. They know how to take care of business.
Yeah, yeah. Halloween 4 Sheriff Department, them boys didn't play. Well, I take that back. They all got killed. But the Earl and them, they
Yeah.
didn't play no games.
You shot Ted Hollister.
Man, that's my favorite scene in the Halloween franchise. He said, "You dumb son of a bitch." You said you saw Myers.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, that the hillbillies are playing for keeps. Fuck.
Uh, well, they tore Ted Hollister. Oh God. Oh.
I I bet I I bet Ted Hollister had a mask on, and as he was I think because we don't see Ted Hollister, and I think Ted Hollister was taking it off and then got shot as he was taking it off. Whether it was a Myers mask or not, we'll never know.
It just looked like he was just laying in the bushes. I don't know what he was doing in the bushes over there, sleep or something.
He may, you know what he's doing in the bush now? He's making a lovely corpse. That's what.
Yeah, they tore him up, boy.
I, that's what I mean. I love the gunplay in this movie too. It's really fun, and it's when you watch it, it's like it's horror, but has a good tone of action in it too. Not over the top, not too much, but just enough.
Shoot, it can almost go as an action film, like even from the scene that Michael and Dr. Loomis encountered each other, in that diner. He shot them bullets, and then that music hit. Michael, get the truck and he blow up the whole gas station. Uh,
I
it was action from then on there.
I love how Loomis is trying to. If you want another victim, take me. Leave those people in peace. He's trying.
He was actually using his psychology. The way he was talking to him all calm, like it was almost like he was trying to cradle Michael in. like, hey, I still got a little love for you. Come on, we don't have to do this.
I don't have to put a bullet in your brain, but I want, but I can,
Yeah,
I love, like, God damn you, Michael.
I
Boom.
know, right? He was like, man, I ain't trying to do this no more. Why I'm trying to help you? Let me kill you. But I don't think Dr. Loomis was trying to kill him right then and there when he shot that first time. When he was like, I just thought he was shot. But what do you think about that whole Donner scene? Like,
I love the tone of it. It's really, Loomis pulls up and he's actually trying to get gas. This is because of the countryside that they show and how they establish that. It's so believable, right? So when he pulls up to try to get gas, he says, "Excuse me there." And I think he saw Michael walking and didn't realize it, you know what I mean, when he said that. And then he goes into the garage and finds the dead mechanic, who just comes down and is wrapped around chains. I love, it's very creepy. He goes in,
hmm
"Is anyone here?" And you see all the dead people, the phone being smashed, and it's like, holy shit, Michael's been here. And the shock was he's still there, and Loomis is talking to him. I think that's what build that build, and then there's the payoff of the conversation. The conversation is the payoff of that. I love that about Halloween 4.
yeah, yeah. Like when he drove off in that truck, it was just like, dang, he really trying to get to Haddonfield. Like he ain't playing no games.
What did you think? Well, two things. What did you think of Rachel after Michael disposes of the hillbillies in the back of the truck? He rips off Earl's neck like it's no problem. Rachel Carruthers hits him with the truck. Die, you son of a bitch. What did you think of that?
I liked it. It was kind of cheesy. I'm not gonna
Sure.
lie. It's not my best scene in the movie, but I like it a little bit. He went flying, and
I teased about how Halloween 6 pulls a Dan Curtis. Really, that sort of starts in this movie because you have young Daniel Harris, Jamie Lloyd, getting out of the truck, touching Michael's hand, and what you have happen is transference. The evil goes into Jamie, and some of Jamie's good goes into Michael, I believe, but not all. It's
yeah, that's another thing. Like people ain't thought about with Halloween 5. Like when he started crying, I know a lot of people don't like that scene, but that just brought up a good point. With you saying like she transferred some stuff into him too.
what Dark Shadows really taught me, because I watched it in the 90s and in the 90s. There's a character named Count Andreas Patafi, and he's a warlock. And what he does is he when he touches you or kisses you on the cheek, he can transfer himself, a part of himself, into you. So he possesses Jameson Collins, who's a little boy. But with Halloween, they don't so much do that, but what they do is, what I took that as, for every yin, there's a yang, right? There's a good and a bad. So if somebody touches you and there's a transference, if your evil is going into them, their good is somewhat going into you. There's a counterbalance. So when we see Jamie attempt to stab her stepmother, attempt to kill her, and she doesn't, I think part of that is it didn't take the full effect. Because, and this is where we'll say, I want to get your thoughts on that, but Halloween 5, they say that both step parents are still alive, meaning Rachel's mother is still alive in Halloween 5. What did you think of Jamie's attempted to kill her stepmother?
I just think that it was a long day for her, put it like that. And when she touched Michael, Michael still had that energy. And I just felt like she was more curious than evil, more than anything. It was just
Yeah.
like a little kid watching horror movies and don't know the consequences. So I just feel like she was being a little bit more curious than power transferred over, you know.
Right. It when she puts on the mask and she's walking, and then she's stabbing her in the shoulder. This is not where Michael was more of an efficient killer and Michael was pure evil. He was wanting to kill. I think at times Danielle's character, Jamie Lloyd, did not get the full effect of the evil here, and that's why she sort of pulls back. We see the bloody scissors or whatever, but it doesn't. She doesn't kill her stepmother. So, and Loomis is like, no, I love Loomis's face in this. He's like, he points the gun and Meeker stops him and he's like, no. He's like almost crying about it, that this is all just going to happen with Jamie all over again.
Yeah, and that was man, that might be one of the best scenes in horror movie history, you know, because Dr. Loomis, he was crying and holding the gun up like, should I shoot this little girl or not? And then Sheriff Meeker, you know, he was like, hey, what's going on up here? He look up and he grabbed the gun and he's shaking like, dang, should I shoot her? You know, like.
So, see now, if that would have been the Shadow, she would have been on the ground.
Yeah.
She'd have been rolled over.
I know, right?
It's like bang, no, you're evil, you're done for.
If that was Hawkins, the mama would have been shot through the tub.
He would have hit the hot water tank.
Yeah.
So this segues into Halloween 5 beautifully. I love how they do the opening. I love the opening score of Halloween 5. What did you think of that?
I love it. It's dark and it's sinister, and you know, it's fast paced and it's building up, and you know, it starts right away. You know, from the opening sequence with the Halloween theme as it speeds up, and next thing you know, it shows Rachel driving the truck, and they're giving us the rehash of what happened in Halloween 4, and then right from the jump, you know, they show Michael getting blown up and he's down in the mine shaft. And, you know, a lot of people pick on this scene, but I love it how Michael, like, he crawls into the water and then he lets the current take him and spins him around. I like how smooth that was. Like, you know, everything goes right for Michael when he wants it to.
I think right here, this is where the luck factor sort of comes in for Michael.
Yeah.
He's crawling away, and then they throw the dynamite and boom. This felt so. I love the pace of this. It's really fast, like you said. It's really good. The score just fits this movie so well. I've never disliked any of the scores in any of the movies really. And here in 5, they do a really good job. It's a faster tone, and Michael going downriver and then getting caught up in a net, and he killed this hermit. Has to be the unluckiest hermit I've ever met.
And not only that, he's eating his soup, and not even a mile away, you hearing these gunshots and dynamites go off, and you just eating your soup, not hearing nothing. But I think something was up with him too. I think he a little black magic or something.
It's definitely strange, right? Because you're right. He's not like too terribly far down the river from where it happens. So it's like, how didn't he hear like the gunshots and the explosions? It's very strange. And here's this man. He even when he touches Michael, you can see him. He says blood. You know, so it's like, well, wait, what do you think happened? This man got shot. You know, now I don't think cell phones weren't really a thing in 1989, but it's like, can't you find a way to communicate to the police, hey, I may have a serial killer or strange man. I found this man's body. He's alive.
Yeah, not only that, he tried to choke you.
And he was successful.
I know. So
I have a theory with this movie. I think when Michael gets up off that bed and starts killing this old man, This movie is titled Halloween 5: The Revenge of Michael Myers. And I think that's exactly what it is. It's Michael's revenge, not at Jamie, but at what Jamie took from him. And I love how Jamie can see what he's doing, but I also think what they don't really explain with 5, which I think you can sort of get with what Michael's doing, he knows she can see him, and he's having her watch. Well, this is what I'm going to do to the people you love and care about, because I'm coming for you and I'm coming to get back what you took.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never looked at it that way, but that's a great point.
It's sinister of Michael. Really, I love how Michael stalks Rachel in this movie. Rachel Carruthers, Ellie Cornell reprising her role. I know she gets killed off early, but I love how he stabs her with the same scissors that Jamie stabbed her mother with. This time, though, Rachel gets the expert did the killings. That's
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with Rachel dying that early. I know a lot of people, have a problem with it, but I mean, what would you expect? I mean, they were just trying to do something a little bit different, but I mean, I can see people why people will be frustrated with that, but uh, I mean, it just showed the significance. Like nobody's safe. Like Jamie don't have nobody to lean on right now, So
it's funny. Years later in Scream, they're going to do the exact same thing and kill off a big star, right? To make it unexpected. Halloween 5 beats Scream to the punch. And I love it for it. It really throws the whole movie off, which is great because now you're not only given a character who wasn't a main character and Tina to sort of shine. This is now Danielle Harris's movie in every way.
yep, and Donald Pleasance too.
Yep.
Those two carried it, and you got to give them props for that.
I love I think they use Pleasance a little. Like there's times there when Pleasance is in this movie, when he's really on, and I love how he tells Chef Meeker her whole body was shaking, and Meeker's like, every other time a little girl twitches, I'm supposed to call out the National Guard, and it's like, oh my God, is Meeker just going to ignore Loomis? Were you shocked by that conversation?
Yeah, I was a little shocked considering that his daughter was killed, and you would think he would be on alert and nervous about every single thing, but maybe he's just in denial. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I could see where you're coming from too. Like, they shot him so many times. Meeker had that big old gun, and they blew dynamite down there. I mean, I guess they were thinking, hey, this dude is dead. Ain't no way he's coming back.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting that he says about he got a coffin of a 9-year-old girl out of the graveyard. I'm thinking, well, Michael's up to his old tricks. He's stealing stuff out of the graveyard.
I know, right?
It's like he steals his sister's tombstone. Big, great shout out to one. He steals his sister's headstone, and here he steals a coffin of a 9-year-old girl. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you know.
Michael, man, he was just ruthless in Halloween 5, especially like how he had everything set up in his house. Like, that was a creepy scene, but that's one of my favorite scenes too. And it made me fall in love with Halloween 5. Like,
I,
well, we'll
I
get to that. I don't want to
right.
fast forward.
I love how he stalks Tina in this movie. He's watching her from the window, and she sort of senses this and looks back, and then he's gone. This sort of felt reminiscent to Laurie a bit, how he was stalking Tina through this movie.
Yeah, that's a good stalking scene. Like when you can see him barely through the window that didn't have curtains, and Tina looking back and like it's something weird because no one is in the house. I'm calling these people names and stuff,
Yeah,
and something told me to look back, and I seen something, but I'm gonna just go with the flow and act like I didn't see nothing.
I love how she has this conversation with her friend about having sex, and then her boyfriend Michael shows up, and we can sort of see Michael Myers in the background in the trees, sort of still following her and stalking her, and they're just not paying attention.
I didn't like that. That was
See,
kind of corny. It didn't look right.
see, I like that. I like that you did, but and when Michael pulls up, and this sort of sets up later too. She says about we'll see Jamie later, and he looks disgusted about it, and then they pull away, and then that's when Jamie Lloyd, Danielle Harris's character, gets up off the bed, and I love when she looks out the window and she sees Michael staring up at her.
Yeah, that was a good scene too. But the only thing I didn't like, with him walking around the bush with his hand on the bush, and
That was Gardner Michael. That's what that was.
yeah,
He,
and
he was doing some fine pruning.
yeah. Well, what do you think about the closet scene before he killed Rachel? Like he was just chilling in the closet and he just left.
I was literally when he's like, because you see his hand and it's all burnt and shit, which I love. That they
Yeah.
have the burnt hand in like 4, 5, and 6. That's pretty cool. And I thought when he came out of the closet he was gonna strangle her, but no, he just like slides on past. I'm like, oh shit, smooth, Jesus. And then I love this scene when the glass breaks and you hear the dog Max barking, and she walks down the hallway and she sees the dog out the window. He's barking at Jamie's room, and she's like, Max, and she realizes he's barking at the house. So when she goes in the room and bends down and sees the broken pitcher, and that's when Michael finally gets her. It was just a big like build up to it.
And that's another thing too. Like even with Tina, like when you hear the dog barking, you know what kind of barks your dog got. You
Yeah,
know if it's a stranger, you know. And I don't understand how they then like sense that like
yeah.
this dog is barking at something. It ain't no squirrel. It's a person.
There's a I wrote a Halloween story where it was called Ghost of Haddonfield, and where this young man, Maxwell Dugan, could see and talk to ghosts, and he actually talks to Rachel Carruthers' ghost. And she says the dog's name, Max, and he says, Me? She goes, No, my dog. He was trying to warn me that Michael was in the house, and I didn't listen, and I should have. And so he's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that after we meet Tina, and there's a really good moment between after, well, Tina's piece of shit boyfriend gets it, by the way, for those who don't know. What did you think of Tina's boyfriend's death?
He deserved it, and almost Michael took too long with the process. I like how he played around with him though. He scratched up the car and all that, but it just amazes me how Michael has that real strength. How dude, he seemed like he could hold his own against an average person, but Michael, when he went against him, Michael just choked him, and it's just like a different type of power.
I love how the fact that Michael is enjoying his handiwork
Yeah, I know.
before he kills this son of a bitch. And he just takes the guarding and just bam on the head. This is one of the most coolest deaths in Halloween 5. And well, not well, I'll get to my favorite death here in a moment, but I love the fact that when Tina dresses up like a harlot, we'll say, and she's coming out in the car, she doesn't realize it's Michael Myers in the car. Michael's wearing the brute mask that Tina gave her boyfriend earlier. And she's saying, "Come on, Mikey, open the door, open the door." And Jamie's seeing this as it's happening, which is really a great sequence of events. And she gets in the car. He finally lets her in, and she says, "Hey, Mikey." And when she leans in to kiss him, she says, "So creepy," you know. And she goes, "What now? What did I do now, Michael? Why the silent treatment again? Is it because I want to see Jamie?" And this, a lot of people just don't pay enough attention to this scene. And it let me know a lot of things about Tina right here. One, she did give a shit about Jamie because she says about seeing her earlier and she's saying about her now. And she's confronting her boyfriend about being mad at her earlier and seemingly mad at her now because she doesn't know that it's Michael. It also let me know she's had this argument before with that piece of shit.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point that you pointed out to me that I didn't even know. Um, but yeah, it does seem that way. Like this dude is always, complaining about something, and it almost seemed like she's in an abusive relationship physically.
Yeah, he seems very somewhat abusive. I agree. He seems very physical. He couldn't out physical Michael. Um,
Yeah, he almost remind me of Skeet Ulrich character in Scream, a little bit.
he does a bit. Just gives Skeet Ulrich the leather jacket and the
I know, right?
and the car, and it is. That's a good point. I like that. What did you think? We never got. Now we did get a countryside sort of feel for Halloween 4, and I love what Halloween 5 does here. They take it to a tower farm. What did you think of that?
I love the tower form, but at the same time, it almost seemed like it dragged on a little too bit when they actually got into the barn and they was trying to have sex. They found the kittens, and it dragged on a little too long for my liking. But I love the atmosphere, and I love when the cops were sitting in the car and Michael drove up real fast and had his mask on, and the cops were like, "Do that look like a threat?" No. I thought that was funny.
Uh, Cops sort of, you know what? It's a good day to get out of here.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, those cops, man, they had it coming and they got it. I kept waiting for Michael to go in the house and slaughter these people.
That would have been good too. Like he just went in there killing everybody.
I'm like, like he kill the cops while they're in the barn, kill everybody in the house, and when she goes in the house, it's like, oh shit, that would have been like just creepy as hell. But I love the barn sequences a little more than you because they're setting up Michael as this. I love how he's standing in the dark and he kicks the kitten at Tina.
Yeah.
If any football team needs an NFL kicker, they just need to phone up Michael Myers.
He's a jack of all trades, man.
I'm telling you. But I love it. And I love the sequence where, um, God, the one girl's boyfriend spits. I forget the girl's name. I apologize. But the guy and the girl, he dresses up like Michael. So when he comes to stab her, she's screaming, thinking it's really Michael, and then he like surprises her. My favorite kill is in this barn when Michael has a sickle. He has the Grim Reaper's hatchet, and there's no more fitting tool for the Grim Reaper himself than the Grim Reaper's
Yeah.
sickle on this. What did you think of that?
I love it, man. Just like even when he killed Rachel's boyfriend, not yeah, Rachel's boyfriend, he using those garden tools, around Halloween and what more can you ask for in a Halloween movie? And people to this day talk about, Michael, even with the Halloween 4K release, they got him on the front of it with it,
Yeah,
so I think a lot of people like that. I love it too. And you see like the blood splatter on the hay,
yeah.
and it wasn't a lot of blood, but it was just enough, so
It gives the hay a little extra decorational color.
yeah.
Michael was decorating in the barn. I love how when Tina comes back in, she's looking for her friends, and it does not take long for bodies to start dropping. And then she runs out and goes to the cops, and then they're slumped over dead. My favorite scene of all in this movie is the car chase scene. What's yours?
Uh, it'll probably have to be like I mentioned earlier when Michael had everything set up in the house, with the coffin and everything, and he started to cry.
Yeah,
And but the car chase scene, man, it's a whole bunch of good scenes. The car chase scene, and then the laundry chute scene,
yeah,
and then at the end when Michael and Dr. Loomis is going at it, and Dr. Loomis is basically killing himself to try to kill Michael. I
yeah,
mean, there's so many great scenes, but my personal favorite probably when Jamie Lloyd is like uncle,
yeah.
and he got that tear, and she was like, "Let me see," and she reached in, and Michael he just flipped the switch. I never seen him that angry. That was like the most angry. How you never show emotion,
Right.
like that emotion just
I think that was the last ounce of whatever was Jamie was in him, and it just went out. That tear is that's it, because I think he's been killing to get it back, really, in five, just to get that essence of evil back in him. Like, no, you belong to, sort of like he's saying, you belong to me, telling the evil, and it's, hey, no, you're mine, not hers. And so he has to come, full circle to kill Jamie, and he does. That tear is full emotion, and I love the rage that comes immediately after it. I'm with you
and
on
and,
that.
and even before that,
Yeah,
when Jamie, she was just like giving up at that point when he was chasing her, and she was like, "Dang, this casket is for me, so I might as well just go ahead and just sit in. I give up. I done seen Rachel over here in the corner dead, and
yeah.
I don't have nobody. I see my dog dead. Let me just go ahead and just get in this casket that he made for me."
This movie, Michael has systematically took apart her help. I mean, one by one, and it was beautifully done. What did you
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think about the Man in Black in this movie?
When I first seen Halloween 5, I didn't know what to think of it. I was just like, "Oh, it's just gonna be some throwaway stuff."
Yeah,
Um, But I always wondered, I was like, who's this man in black? And then at the end, I just thought it was somebody just saving Michael, using him as a using him as a getaway person. Like, hey, if I want to rob a bank, use Michael as a decoy, something like that. That's what I was thinking it was. Like they was gonna use him like a Terminator.
right. I Halloween 5 is a beautifully dark film, and it is. I really, because they were going a really dark direction. I thought this was the devil that came straight out of hell and was coming for Michael's wayward soul, sort of punishment for letting the evil fall into another kid. But no, it wasn't. But it's just, he doesn't sort of take away from Michael. He sort of adds to this whole other lore. It's like, what does this son of a bitch want with anybody, let alone the most dangerous killer ever?
Yeah, I know. And then at the end, when he just completely gutted out the whole police station, and then, I love this part. Like when
Yeah,
not Jamie Lee Curtis, but when Jamie Lloyd is, at the end of the movie, and you hear no, no, and it echoes, and
yeah,
it's like she got nobody.
yeah,
And it's just scary at that point. Like, whoa, where do we go from here? Like, this is scary.
yeah. It really is. Like the whole. I love how they set this up. How they put her. She says he'll never die, which I love that line by Danielle Harris. I mean, she has done. I sort of wish they would have given her top billing in this movie because she did deserve it. I get why they put Donald Pleasance at the top, but she really, really should. She was
She,
great in
yeah,
four. She was even better in this.
Yeah, she grew up because, like you said, she said he'll never die, and it's like, the older people are trying to comfort her, be like, okay, we got him, he's under control, but she know in her mind, like, y'all just doing that grown folk talk and trying to calm me down, but I know deep down that he'll never die.
It's her way of saying, "Don't lie to me. I know better."
Yeah, and that's the only thing I hate about the Halloween community. They always try to say that, oh, Halloween 5 was rushed into production, and they try to say that, oh, they didn't have the script, which is true to an extent, and that's why they had Danielle Harris mute. But Danielle Harris, like I said, she gifted, especially with that age. She could have remembered those lines and did what she had to do. And people want to talk about it as being rushed. What about Halloween ends and kills in 2018, back to back to back?
Right. Here's the thing. I think make having her be mute really helped this movie in many ways. It built
Exactly.
it built back that sympathy, because keep in mind what people sometimes forget. She's coming off attempting to kill her stepmother. So he, and we people forget too in Halloween, what does Sam Loomis say? He just stared at a wall 15 years. He didn't say anything. Her mute, she's sort of fighting that throughout the movie to talk. She wants to, but she just can't. That's the biggest difference. Michael didn't fight the evil. Jamie is. And I think that's what that muteness, her being mute really is all about. She's fighting her way back to what she was.
Yeah, and people, the Halloween community have to understand, like, with her being mute and she can't communicate.
Right.
Like, I mean, she trying to communicate and ain't nobody listening or trying to understand her. Like, hey, she trying to tell you, oh, Michael Myers is here, and nobody. She can only communicate with that. What was her name, Billy?
Yep, Billy.
She
Yeah.
understand. So, I mean, that's scary in itself. I mean,
Right.
so I just, I don't know. The cool thing is to hate on Halloween 5.
Darnell,
Hello,
How are you, man?
how's it going, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hold on, let me turn up my volume a little bit. I don't have my microphone hooked up, so it's probably not going to sound all that great. Hold on a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's going on, OG?
Not much, bro. Just chilling. Had to drop a video real quick.
Oh
What
yeah.
What did you think of Halloween Force opening of the countryside setting, Darnell?
Well, honestly, you know me. I'm gonna seem a little negative. You know I love Halloween 4. I really do. But I was like, what the fuck is taking so long? Hurry up with the movie, shit.
Oh my goodness. What did you What did you think of the ambulance pulling up to, because this wasn't Smith's Grove, this was a different sanitarium. Were you shocked by that when you first saw it?
Uh, yeah. I mean, when I saw the Ridgemont name, I was like, well, where the hell is Ridgemont? Like, I'm not trying to be a smartass. I'm
No.
really, I'm being serious. I was like, I've never heard of that. So, and might I add real quick, when it pulled up to the hospital and it had that music, it was a bit somber for me because I said, "Uh oh, we're getting ready to get into some dangerous shit now, some dangerous territory." And that's when I knew that Michael was back. I said, "This is not good. He's gonna kill a lot of people."
Me and Ryan were talking about this sequence of Danielle Harris seeing the ambulance outside her window while she was talking to Rachel Carruthers, her stepsister.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? Do you think that was a dream sequence or not?
Um, I think it was either a dream sequence or she was showing signs of the telepathic bond with him,
Right.
because I'm like, how can it be outside? Although I have to say, I believe one of the commentators did say that he might have been outside. You know, he might have driven it there.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure. You know, what do you guys think?
Well, the ambulance was crashed
Right.
before you reach Haddonfield. That's the only thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless he just backtracked.
Yeah. It might, you know what? It might have been a plot hole, you know?
There's an interesting thing here. Rachel is on the couch with Jamie, and I was telling Ryan this earlier. And she asked her, "Do you love me like a sister, like a real sister?" And when she says that, she's sort of glancing out the window, and you see the Ridgemont, and you see the ambulance. I
Mm-hmm.
th- I think that whole sequence. Remember, Jamie. They find Jamie in the closet looking at pictures of her mother. I don't ever think Jamie got out of that closet. I think she fell asleep and had a dream of having this whole conversation with Rachel. I think that whole sequence is one big dream.
That is really deep. I never thought of that, bro. You know what? You might have a point there. Never thought of that.
What was your favorite kill in Halloween 4?
Um, wow, that's a good one.
Ted Hollister.
Yep, yep.
Okay, we never saw him officially die though, right?
Oh, he dead, all right.
Um, I'm gonna have to say probably the shotgun through the woman.
Yep. I like that.
I know it was a little Jason Voorhees esque, but what are you gonna do? Oh well, you know.
Now, if Hawkins was shooting at Ted Hollister, he'd have a great chance at living.
Yeah, that's true.
But unfortunately, he got the hillbillies, and they were playing for keeps that night. God, poor Ted Hollister. Uh, what did you think of the score for Halloween 4?
I liked it. Although I told you in my videos, if you listen to those, I kept saying, why did Alan Howarth never finish the theme? He would always start it and it would go all the way to the end. I wish I could show you. I wish I literally had my keyboard out so I could show you what I mean. But if you notice when it gets to the end of the theme and then the theme starts all over again, he would never. I said, why won't you start over?
Yeah.
He would just go to the end and then stop like abruptly. So that just kind of annoyed me. But other than that, I enjoyed it.
Young, we have Donald Pleasance, Ellie Cornell, a young Danielle Harris. What did you think of Danielle Harris, who's playing young Jamie Lloyd, the
I
daughter
loved,
of
I
Sir?
loved Danielle Harris. She was great,
Yeah,
and I absolutely loved Donald Pleasance.
yeah,
You know, Donald was great. How can you not love Donald?
yeah. He was. I love the scene between him and the preacher in the truck. It's really
Yeah.
fun, you know.
And by the way, I've heard that song on TV about 3 times now. Gather at the river.
Yep.
I've heard it 3 times. I would say in the past 3 months. So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
it's been on TV.
Dr.
It's an
Loomis,
actual song.
Dr. Loomis enjoyed that ride.
he
Yeah,
did. He found his one soulmate who understood evil. The one
yeah,
person, and go figure, it was a priest.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I love that. I love the irony of that. That's beautiful. What did you think of the garage scene where Loomis pulls up and he finds all the dead bodies and he's trying to convince Michael, take me, don't go to Haddonfield.
I thought Loomis was really brave, but
Yeah.
I thought maybe the scene should have been scored a little bit better. And I pose a question to you guys: was Michael really there, or is Michael just that evil by now, where he can just move outside of time and space?
No, I think he was really there because it was a gas station in flames.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was there.
So you
I
think he can just move that quickly?
He's supernatural at this point. So
Yeah, that's true.
oh, you talking about when he dodged the bullet when Loomis shot him?
Yeah, like that's so. I'm like, wait, is he really? Because I'm gonna assume he was really there. I mean, he would have to be, right?
Yeah, he was there, but that's the thing about Michael Myers. We just don't know how he does that.
Yeah, like, how the hell does he do that? I don't understand. I don't get it.
I think with I've always said Michael's horror's version of the shadow makes decisions in fractions of a second, and that's how Michael decides. He moves with the wind. He makes decisions very quickly, fractions of a second matter, and so he moves like the wind, and he's just not there. The build up to Loomis saying "God damn you, Michael" is, I love the build up to it, and then when you see the camera turn, he's just not there. He's already, by the time Loomis raises that gun, he's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
I mean, I admit I don't know how he does it. I don't know because, and I'm not trying to brag and make it all about me. I'm just saying I was once called a Michael Myers aficionado, and I can't accept that claim anymore because I don't know everything. I don't know. I don't know how he did that.
Hey, what was the deal with those Abraham Lincoln pictures all over the wall?
I was thinking the same thing. I thought that was a bit weird. I'm guessing that it was a real. I don't want to say it's a real building because then you'll be like, "Duh," but you
Is
know what I
it,
mean. I
is
think
he is Abraham Lincoln from Illinois? Is that area?
Yes, he was a
Oh,
lawyer.
oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I think that was already there when when they were filming, and I think they had to leave it up because what they did was they probably went to the people that owned it and said, "Hey, can we shoot here?" And then the people probably said, "Well, yeah, but you've got to, take care of the place if that makes any sense."
Yeah, but that was in Salt Lake City, Utah, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And see, that's why I love having you on here because you ask the questions that we don't think about. And might I add, it's such a pleasure having you on again, Everyday Horror. I absolutely love this. You are truly one of the best, if not the best on here.
I
So,
appreciate it, man. But y'all two guys, man, y'all the OGs.
oh yeah, man.
I'm just old. I'm just old. I'm not.
Um, I don't know. I don't know why that was there. I was thinking that, but I'm guessing whoever owned it said you have to leave it up. That's probably what that is.
If they did do that, if they said it would just, that was smart because Lincoln he lived in Illinois. He ran in Illinois in office. So,
Oh wow.
and you're trying to set up that this is Haddonfield, Illinois.
Yeah,
It makes sense, you know.
that's true.
So
That's true.
that's a really great question Ryan asked. And what did you think of the fake Michael Myers in this movie, Darnell?
I I thought it was him. I admit that.
Yeah.
I did. I thought it was him. I thought, okay, he's taking his power to the next level. It's one of those things, man, where you have to say, well, okay, he obviously did it, but we don't know how he did it,
Right.
you know? So, yeah.
What did you think of, we get the school scene of Rachel shooting Michael with the fire extinguisher, and then the hillbillies come to the rescue. They're on the back of the truck. They're driving out of Haddonfield. Michael
I
starts.
loved Rachel. I loved her spraying him in the face.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think she said it was either her or what's the guy's name? Alan B. McElroy. He said that they wanted to make her smart because this was the end of the 1980s, as you know,
Yeah.
and at this point, it was the cliche for the woman to be stupid.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make her smart. And I'm glad they did that. If you notice, when she saw Michael the first time she ran, she didn't just stand there and go, "Oh, who's that guy right there?" They did that on purpose.
Right.
I learned that in the commentary. I'm a geek. What can I say?
It's okay. What did you think of Rachel slam when Rachel takes control of the truck? She slams on the brakes. She says, "You die, you son of a bitch," and she hits Michael with the truck. What did you think of that?
Again, it's one of those things where I don't really have any words for Ellie, and I wish you can get her on here because I loved how she took over.
Yeah.
I'm not really, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of protagonists. I mean, you've got to be really good for me to be on your side. I'm just not, that's not my thing. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I
Yeah.
like Danielle Harris. Excuse me. I like Danielle Harris. And I like, uh, I guess Kara was okay, but I mean, I'm not really big on protagonists, so I actually liked Ellie though. So
What did you think of the end of Halloween 4? We have Jamie Lloyd touching Michael's hand, and we have a sort of a transference of good and evil. Michael's evil leaves and goes into Jamie's body, and some of Jamie's good seems to go into Michael's. What did you think of that?
to me, that was a confirmation that he was, as Everyday Horror pointed out, that he was indeed supernatural.
Yeah,
I figured, they call it the touch of evil, but to me, it wasn't about his touch because he touched a lot of people and they didn't turn evil. In my opinion, and I'm going to take it really supernatural here, but not only did he influence her, but he was in her.
yeah.
I think that was him that did that. So
We
that's my opinion on that.
we were talking about Halloween 5. We had just gotten through it, but and we'll give our thoughts about it again too. What did you think of Halloween 5, 1989? Daniel Harris is mute in this movie. What did you think about that?
Again, I actually liked it because it forced her to work even harder. It's easy to say something,
Yeah,
but when you're forced to work without speaking, that says a lot to me, and that's why I like all the people that play Michael Myers
yeah,
because they have to work extra hard. And might I say, shout out to Chris Durand, and I honestly mean that. I
yeah.
look at H2O differently since I met him. He's a very, very nice man. Very nice. You should really look into getting him on here.
Yeah. Brian, what did you think of Jamie being mute in this movie?
Like I mentioned, I love it because it shows that she can't really communicate with anybody other than Billy. So she can't really cry out for help. Well, Dr. Loomis, he already knew what was going on, but like as far as like Rachel, she really can't understand nothing. Um, but it was, a good moment when she finally got to speak and Tina was like, they was crying, tears of joy because she was, could speak.
Yeah,
So I just felt like it was good that they wrote her character that way,
yeah.
even though
I
the Halloween community always like to bash that.
Yeah.
I think the one thing a lot of Halloween fans who just want to dump on 5 don't realize, 5, 4, 5, and 6 really pay homage to the original too, and
Exactly. Thank you.
With
Sorry
Jamie,
to interrupt. But
no, with Jamie Lloyd especially because remember what Sam Loomis says in 1. I spent 15 years watching him, and he was mute. He didn't say anything. He just stared at a wall. He was almost catatonic. He was catatonic. Michael did not fight the evil. When we see Jamie trying to speak and move, she's fighting that very evil that contaminated Michael. She's trying to
yeah,
get it out of her. And I think that's the biggest telltale difference between the two characters. They're trying to show you, hey, this girl, she's trying to salvage her soul.
I agree.
You know, I love Jamie being mute in this movie because it builds to the story. I know that people argue about it being rushed, but really, I think some of the
I like
rush,
it. I
right?
like five.
I do too. I think some of the rushingness of this movie helped it. What did you think of the Man in Black, Darnell?
Oh man. Well, as silly as this may sound, I thought he was Satan originally.
Well,
So that's what I assumed. I mean, who else would he be?
right.
You know?
That's I had said that earlier. I thought this was the devil coming for Michael's wayward soul.
Yeah.
Um, but it's that five is just so good. What did you think of the character of Tina?
I honestly I didn't like Tina. I mean, I know she was Tina. See, again, I have to go back to that wrestling analogy. Tina was a baby face who you thought of as a heel. You hated her. And she got over with the audience anyway, even though she wasn't over because they still talk about her 30 years later. So
I
So
think
that,
basically, so basically, she like Cody Rhodes right now.
that's right. There you go. Or the babyface version of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
that now there's no annoying Paul Heyman with Tina. Now come on.
Yeah.
But
Hey, so what do y'all think about another thing fans like to harp on about Halloween 5 is the Halloween 5 Michael Myers house. Now it's a line where Dr. Loomis is like, down in the old house.
Yeah,
So right there, he just said that the house was remodeled because he was like, hey Michael, she's down here in the old house.
yeah. Um, I mean, it does look vastly different. I can't say it doesn't, but here's my thing: people make the biggest deal out of the smallest thing. Okay, so it's a different house. So what? Because if you want to make a big deal out of that, then you can make a big deal out of the fact that it's not the same guy that plays Michael in Halloween 2. Well, wait, they actually do make a big deal out of that. Never mind. They say Dick Warlock moves too slow. It's like, shut up. You see, I don't want to ruin your podcast, Jewel. I don't want to bring my negativity on here, man. It's just the
negativity.
it's just the fans. They annoy me sometimes. Everyday horror woke something up in me that just make me want to slap the fans sometime. Um,
You guys should know that honesty is always welcomed on my channel. That's just it. If no one likes it, then they can get the hell out. But
well, thank you. So okay, so I can be honest. Well, I think they bitch too much.
yeah,
I mean, why are you bitching about a house? What the hell do you care?
I think when you look at five, people just like to nitpick, and really they're nitpicking at nothing. When Tina's the first thing that they tend to nitpick at. And I'll say this: go back and watch that. Tina gets stalked by Michael. Tina
Yes.
Tina mentions about seeing Jamie earlier to her dipshit boyfriend who gets killed, thank God. And she gives him the brute mask prior to that. Later
Mm-hmm.
on, we see Michael wearing the brute mask in the car. She thinks it's her boyfriend, and when he finally lets her, and we see Danielle Harris, Jamie Lloyd, seeing this, which I love, and she leans in and kisses him on the cheek, and she says, "Creepy," and she says, he takes off. He goes, what all the silent treatment, Mike? What did I do? Is it because I want to see Jamie? It let me know two things right then and there. One, Tina did give a shit about Jamie.
I
Two,
agree with that.
she's had this argument with this, who she believes is her asshole boyfriend. She's had
Yeah,
this argument before. You know,
I
I think,
agree. I mean, he probably said something to the effect of, "Oh, you're going to do this again,"
right.
Um, the girl's fucking crazy. Like, you know how men talk. The
Yeah,
girl's fucking crazy.
yeah.
Um, so I was thinking the same thing. They had the conversation before.
Yeah.
And I don't and I don't understand like why fans hate Tina either, considering that what her name is, Annie in 1978. She was like basically like the same personality, really, like the way they talk, the way they act, and everything like that. So if people got a problem with Tina, they should have the same problem with Annie.
Really, I thought Linda was the annoying one in Halloween one. You know?
Yeah, she was, but she was, goofy from the beginning.
Yeah,
I think it's just when people hear the word sequel, I think sometimes it's automatic bitch mode.
yeah,
Honestly, I think it's they don't even give it an honest chance. And I'm not saying they don't watch the movie, but there's watching a movie and there's really stepping back and going, this character's going through this character's going through that, this character's going through that. There's many characters going through different things. Look at Ben Meeker. He, like Ryan was saying, he loses his daughter. In a year, he's sort of starting to look at Loomis like he's dead. He's dead. Let it go. Which I agree.
yeah. I have a question for you guys though. I want to know, where is the line between um genuinely not liking something and then being negative? Where is that line? I would love to hear from both of you on that.
Well, the reason, like, I could watch Halloween 1 through 8
Uh
any
huh.
time of, any time of the day. But like with Halloween 2018 and all that, it just seemed like they came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna clean house. We don't care about those past movies."
Yeah.
So when you go in and you do stuff the exact same way the past movies did, and you throw in these Easter eggs, well, I'm like, well, I thought you had a better idea. So why you keep doing the same stuff?
Yeah. But if I say to you, I hate Halloween 18, is that negative?
No.
No.
What would you call a negative response?
I I would call, well, let me say this. Today, I tweeted about this today.
Mm-hmm.
The late Mitchell Ryan passed on March 4th, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I've done 2 moments of silence for the man. I also recorded extra audio for commentary on someone else's channel for it. And Patrick McRae, author of the Dark Shadows Daybook, shout out to him. He wrote one hell of an article on the Collinsport Historical Society, which a link will be in the description box for that, for those who want to go check it out, along with these two gentlemen's channel. He wrote a hell of an article about the late Mitchell Ryan. Yet at halloweenmovies.com or
Mm-hmm.
halloweenmovies.com, you know what they have up about Mitchell Ryan's passing? Not one goddamn thing.
Huh.
And yet, there were people, big time YouTubers, famous YouTubers, when Tony Moran said shit, they were cutting promos on him left and right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, where's your spine and soul at now? Because there's nothing up about Mitchell Ryan on HalloweenMovies.com. That's hatred. That's bullshit. This man died on March 4th, and there's nothing on that site about him. That's hatred. That's disrespectful. That's where I draw the line.
I
Because,
think, to be fair, and again, I have to put this disclaimer out there because I don't want you to think
right,
that I've got somebody in my pocket. Because when Ryan said what he said, that really woke me up, and I was like, what if people start thinking that about me? So
right,
I don't have anybody in my pocket. I don't have anybody coming on to my channel, other than the two that you guys know about that we can't talk about here.
right.
But um, I say that to say, and I'm not taking up for Halloween just to get anybody on here, but
Right.
maybe the guy is currently working on something. The guy that runs it, I don't want to throw his name out there,
Right.
but maybe he's currently writing something and he just hasn't finished it yet. Maybe he hasn't run it by Malik yet, or
Right.
something like that.
I don't think he would have to run it by Mallet just to do something like that, though.
I don't know. I do think it's weird. I mean, he was Mitchell Ryan is like the face of Halloween 6,
Yeah.
literally.
It is. People know him as Dr. Wynn. They know. I mean, the Blumhouse movement trying to write him in now.
Wow, you think so?
Well, they trying to, do their own little thing like that.
Yeah.
That
But what do you think? Everyday horror. What do you define as going way too far? What can a fan say that just says to you, okay, that crossed the line?
Well, it's nothing like that that really gets to me, but this one thing that I do get for, when I speak negative about Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills, people be like, you hate the Halloween franchise. I be like, no, I don't. I love 1 through 8. Well,
Yeah,
not really like Resurrection, but I prefer them over these
yeah.
Blumhouse movies. And Blumhouse, the Halloween movie is the only thing popping off right now. So, that's what I'm going to talk about. If I talk about Halloween 5, they're not going to approve my post in the Facebook group. So, I mean, you know, if I like Halloween 5, then I'm a jackass. If I dislike Halloween Kills, I'm a jackass. So, I mean, I really don't care about them.
If a fan told you that they hated one of the people in the movie, is that going too far?
Well, it depends. I mean, some people, you grew up around. They said, "Don't you ever say you hate somebody."
Yeah.
It's just like hate can mean two different things. Like I can say I hate this movie, but I might hate it at a level 5 instead of a level 10.
Mm.
It just depends.
Well, if the host doesn't mind, I would like to go back to a story that he told me about Rob Zombie's Halloween. Would you care sharing that story? Because I think the audience needs to hear it.
well, this is an example of pure hatred. Okay, when I when Rob Zombie's Halloween was announced, what was it announced as? A remake, The
Hmm.
Johns. Okay, now my brother, his group of friends, I had a group of friends. They didn't go to the theater with us, but we were having a private conversation. And well, this is just a remake. I put up my hand. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Is it? We haven't seen the movie.
Hmm.
So me, my brother, my wife, went to go see the movie, and there were these people after the movie ended, and they were chanting, "Fuck you, Rob Zombie." You want to talk about hate and just wrongful hate? Like, look, I don't like the movie either, but it's a movie. You don't like what those right there. Those are the people that are on the internet, basically, wanting to call other people jackasses and cuss and fucking scream at everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to sit there in a theater and scream at a fucking screen that can't fucking hear you, then you're fucking psychotic.
I
Exactly.
agree.
See, it's more the fans that's toxic than the movies
Right.
because it's the fans that get the response out of you. Like for my channel, it's like more the fans frustrating with the stuff they saying and contradicting themselves and saying this and that. Y'all know the people I've been going at, and
Oh yeah.
Man.
it just seems like they contradicting themselves. It's more the
Yeah.
fans that I'm going at than the movies, really.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that, and that's why I did what I did the other day, and I know people are going to look at that video and say, "Oh, that video looks so ugly," but and I don't like people seeing the ugly side of me. It's just that for you to say, "Oh, you want something for free," see, that's why I say these fans are so toxic, and so everyday horror is right about that. People like that make it difficult for people like you, me, and everyday horror. We are the fans that want to just get our drink and get our popcorn, and we want to watch the movie. There are some things we like, some things we don't, and
Right.
I'm sure each one of us wants to get maybe an autograph or what have you with our favorite actor or actress in it. But people like that make it difficult for the rest of us, you know?
Right. I think the biggest thing is, if you don't like a movie, if you don't like someone the way someone made a certain movie, whether it's one of the sequels, one of Rob Zombie's films, you don't have to like it, but you don't have to be, an asshole about it either. You don't have to be to the point of like the crowd of people was chanting, fuck you, Rob Zombie. That was just wrong and inappropriate. I remember standing up in the aisle, walking out with my brother, and said, "Idiots,
Yeah.
fucking, idiots," and they
And
were.
that and that's how they are about Halloween 5 on the internet.
Yeah.
Seem like every bit time, Halloween YouTuber find a way to get their Halloween jokes and call it garbage or whatever and all that.
Yeah.
Piss on the directors and all that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I probably would have run if I can't run, but I would have rolled my wheels really quickly to get out of there because you got to be thinking, what if they? I don't know, bro. It's like I hate to say this, but like, what if they try to hurt you?
Well,
You
here's the thing, dude. I'm 6'4". I know how to take care.
Yeah.
So, so listen, we weren't front row. We were like the fifth row back. Okay, that's still close. Okay,
hmm
so we were close enough to the screen, and it was a packed house. It's full theater. So you get these people chanting this by the end of the movie, and I just shook my head. I said, "Well, let's get the hell out." I just said, "Let's leave."
Yeah,
The
I didn't
movie was
experience that.
over. The movie was over. I wasn't in fear for my life, but at the same time, I just thought to myself, it's a fucking movie. Like it's
I
a
mean,
film.
look, I was disappointed. I wouldn't say I want to hurt anybody or, um, I think people take it way too far. So I would like even with the video that I did
Right.
a couple of days ago, and I'm really shocked at everyone's reaction toward that, where everyone's like, "I'm so sorry you were trolled," and but I was, they were saying, "Oh, he wants free stuff." So I don't know. I think the fans, it can be scary, which is why I understand Danielle Harris because
Right.
it can be a scary thing. This is why I can never put my events on social media. I talked with Everyday Horror about this. I can never put it on social media. I can't say, well, I'm going to be at Chuck E. Cheese or I'm going to be at the Regal Cinema. I can't ever say that because you never know who's reading your post. And
Right.
might I add, just because somebody adds you on Facebook, that
Right.
doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they're your friend. They
Right.
could just be adding you to get close to you and to find out where you are. So I'm just saying, because I think that conversation needs to be on here
Right.
because I think negativity is a part of horror films.
Yeah.
So I hope I didn't overstep, but I'm just saying that you need to be aware of your surroundings because they will hurt you if they can.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I think you brought up a very, very valid point. I do think there's dangerous horror fans out there who need to understand that, you know, psychotic behavior or psychotic tendencies isn't an okay way to act. It's not okay to just slash out at somebody or threaten them or like just keep trolling somebody. Again, I've talked about this in a video I did. Every franchise has its trolls, unfortunately. And my advice to people getting trolled is the block button's on the right, for
Yeah,
one, for one.
yeah,
But to Halloween 6, Donald Pleasance, Marion Hagen, Paul Rudd is introduced in this movie, and the late great Mitchell Ryan is in this movie. What did you guys think?
Man, I was introduced to Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, pretty late. Um, I watched it, the theatrical cut, and I really didn't like it. I think it came on Sci-Fi a while, about 8 years ago, and I watched it, and I seen Michael Myers get beat with a pipe with green stuff flowing out of his brain, and I was like, I don't know if I like it. But then, like 3 or 4 years ago, I was introduced to the producer's cut, and I just fell in love with it ever since. And that movie is just so dark. Um, One of my favorite scenes is when Kara and the men in black try to, confront her and get her, and she she didn't even think twice about it. She just jumped out the window and tried to get away, and I just thought that was some, scary stuff. And the whole movie is just dark, and it has a lot of mood, a lot of atmosphere, and the trees. They actually filmed this, I think, in October, so
Yeah,
everything looked
I think
good.
so.
Yeah, everything looked great. Um, Donald Pleasance, he was a little bit more laid back, but he got the job done in the producer's cut. And it was just a lot of crazy stuff going on. Jamie Lloyd getting shot in the head, Dr. Wynn going crazy. And then, you got the whole coat of thorn thing, and they get so deep into that. And what are these movies doing now today? They
Yeah.
all going to the A24 movies, all these symbols and cult things.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ahead of his time once again.
Yeah.
I think, and I know I said this in my Halloween 6 reaction video. I don't know if you got to see those Everyday Horror, but you can go check those out. I did 1 through 8 and my experiences with each film as a child. But as you know, I didn't see them in chronological order. I saw them as I could afford to see them. So uh, when I saw Halloween 6, which is the second one that I did see, I admit, guys, I thought it was weird because when I saw the hospital bed and she was just like racing through the hall and you could hear the racing noises, like it was like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like what kind of opening is this? And she was screaming and I'm like, what is this? So I thought it was a little weird, but I did fall in love with it, as you both know, because you heard me talk about it to death on my channel. I did fall in love with it, like Everyday Horror. I just thought it was a little weird, like he did. Um, and I thought it was weird how, and I know I'm nitpicking here, but they only played the song 4 times, and that really pissed me off. Like
See,
really, but other than that, I'm cool with it. I love it.
I love the fact that they only used the theme 4 times
I know you told me.
because here's the thing. They didn't rely on it as much. They relied on the acting, the
That you know
storytelling.
what? You have a good point.
You had, and I get why they sort of do pull Donald Pleasance's character back in the theatrical cut because they're pushing a bunch of young characters. They're pushing Kara Strode, Danny Strode,
Yeah,
Tommy Doyle was the other familiar character, but we haven't seen Tommy since the first one. I don't think that's Tommy in Halloween 4, by the way.
yeah.
Um, but, and I really like the fact that again you just have all these fresh young characters, and we have the reemergence of Dr. Terrence Wynn, who we haven't seen since the first movie either.
And again, if I may interrupt real quick, I think they should have consulted Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, they
You
should.
know, they should have said, "Hey, look, we wanna try and build these younger guys, and what do you think about that?"
Yeah.
But no, they just trimmed it up and you know
Yeah,
tried to.
what y'all think about Kara Strode? Y'all ain't talking about her. She
I
was a great actor.
I liked her, of course.
I think I mentioned Marion Hagen. Tara Strode really, what a protagonist. I mean, here's this woman who has a child of her own. This isn't a step kid or, this is her kid. And I think Halloween 6 really explores another family. The trilogy was about sort of a family aspect. Four had that, and now with 6 you have a stronger family aspect because you have a mother and a son, and her son keeps hearing this voice saying, "Danny, kill for me," and she's sort of looking into what his drawings. She says the thorn, and she knows what that symbol is and means because she's going to college. Kara is. She's going to Haddonfield University. Kara is what is. Look, I love Daniel Harris. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but Kara Strode Marienhagen is my number one final girl ever.
Wow, I didn't expect you to say that, bro.
Wow, nah. I wasn't expecting that either. But I
Wow,
can,
man,
but I
you
can
know what?
why.
I respect that, bro. Good for you. You know, don't just listen. Don't be a fanboy. Don't just start fanboying out. And again, nothing against Danielle. I would love to get her on here, but look, don't be a fanboy. I'm glad that you said that. Good for you, bro.
I really look. She connects. I wasn't when I first saw this. I saw this in theaters as a teenager. Keep in mind, here's this woman. She has a child. She's been through a bad, you know, marriage or relationship, and here's her father who's an abusive ass. Into the frying pan, into the fryer, as they say, and she comes out with this bloody nose. I mean, you're feeling every ounce of sorry for this girl you could imagine, and she really just makes you feel sorry for her throughout the entire movie. But she's also very smart and very curious too. So when I really do think Kara Strode is one of the best final girl in the Halloween franchise. She's very, very underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, she was very cool. By the way, I love how you try to link H2O to Halloween 6. That's so awesome. Um, even though technically you're right because it is a sequel. It really is.
It is.
You've got the bloody scissors and everything, and you got the mask. So
that that deduction board is your proof.
That's true.
That
Very true.
Yeah, good point.
Now, I will say this because I've talked about this before. It would be all too, because I've sort of teased writing a crossover between Halloween and The Shadow. It would be too easy to make Dr. Sam Loomis an agent of the Shadow. Really, really, really too easy. I'll leave it there. But what did you guys think of Mitchell Ryan's performance in this movie?
Well, he honestly pissed me off when he wouldn't give the baby back. I was like, "Will you just give her the damn baby? Like, just give her the baby."
Yeah, he did a great job, but he did a great job. But the person I really didn't like was what was the woman name? The old woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand her in this movie. Yeah, I can't stand her, especially when the court get around and she involved with. I hated her.
I like.
You didn't like her? Why not? I thought she was cool.
Nah, I didn't like her. I did like the mama though. What's her name? Yeah, Deborah. She,
Yeah.
she was she made you believe that she was an actual real person, a real mom going through that situation. That's
Yeah.
why I like Halloween 6 because it seems like a real family going through real situations. I mean, you got the brother of Kara. He's still kind of young and not taking stuff seriously in the family household.
Yeah.
But Carol, she's going through it. She's strong and came back home. And the daddy just a drunk beating on his wife and, beating on his daughter and everything like that. So they're going through real situations. And, it seemed like the mom hit the breaking point and she was like, look, I'm taking my stuff and I'm leaving. Why you didn't tell us that we were staying in Michael Myers' home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to see the audition video for Halloween 6. Everyday Horror, but that is on YouTube, or at least it was. And the reason I bring that up is because there's a scene that they cut out of the script, but she says something about I think it's Beth that says it's 1995 dillweed. I don't know what a dillweed is, but um, so you talked about the brother acting a certain way. It was very 90s. I don't know if you picked up on that, but he was basically like, "Yeah, dude, what's up, man?" You know that whole 90s thing. You can sort of see him acting like somebody from Friends, you know, the TV show, something like that. So they tried to make it as 90s as possible. That's why.
Yeah. I love my. Well, what's you guys' favorite kill in this movie? I know what mine is.
Mine is the nurse. My favorite kill is the nurse on the spike.
I would probably have to say the axe. Deborah getting her head chopped off and seeing the blood splatter across the sheets.
Oh, how could you? Wait a minute. How could you like something like that sweet old lady getting killed like
Nah,
that?
it's just the whole build up of that. I mean, she lost her glasses, and it was she at one moment, she knew the axe was there because she seen it, and then she looked back. She was like, "Hold up, something ain't right." It's gone now. So I just like that whole scene.
Well, who was it on the phone? That's what I would like to ask you. Who was on the phone?
It was her husband, but then before that, it was just a man in black, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, because that's what the one that said we want the child. I'm like, well, who's that supposed to be? You know.
Yeah.
So, um, I want to ask you guys a question though before you get to your next question, Jewel.
Sure.
This is what I want to know. How does Michael always get in the house? I talked with Everyday Horror about this. How does he do that? He did it on, I think, let me get it right. He did it on part two. We know how he came in through the door. But then he did it on six.
Mm-hmm.
I think the door was closed. It might have been locked, maybe it wasn't. And then he did it on seven. How does he keep doing that, in your opinion?
Again, he moves like the wind. He moves in fractions of a second, where his decision making is very fast and very quick. I think there's a lot to Michael to where this man can get in any door, any window, whenever the hell he wants.
What do you think, Everyday Horror? How does he keeps, like, I'm like, how the hell did he get in there?
Well, in this particular situation, I think that the court was walking around and it was basically everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if the court had came through and scavenged and ran through the house and just left the doors unlocked or something like that. And
Yeah,
Michael was there with them, and they dropped him off.
that's true. It's a good point.
My favorite kill in six is the death of Jamie Lloyd. I love the fact that Michael just impales her on the farming equipment and turns it on. It's very, very good.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about all that was I didn't feel like it need to be raining outside. Like,
Yeah.
even though it's a horror movie, it don't need to be raining. It just makes it a little bit messy, like a Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
I like the rain. The rain was good.
There's rain in four. I was sort of I know the people who do six aren't the one who do four, but I'm sort of wondering maybe they watched Halloween 4 because there's rain in Halloween 4 as well.
That's true.
And this is the end of the trilogy, so maybe they're just having that for effect.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it could be.
Maybe I might be reaching.
It does make a scary environment because, like, even in the beginning when Jamie had the baby and ran off, she don't have on those shoes. It's cold outside, and she's running trying to find try to get away. And what's strange, you got the truck driver drinking a beer out there in the rain with nothing covered up on his head. He's like, "What you doing? What you doing?"
Yeah, that's true.
The girl already in your truck, and you just asking her questions. Just go over there and get back in your truck.
That's true. Everything you crack me up, man. I'm telling you. You think that when I write LOL in Facebook and all of that, I'm just kidding. No, you really have me laughing my ass off, bro. Oh my goodness, you crack me up.
Or go back to your beer.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jesus.
He's standing out there in the rain, getting rained on. He got a rain. He got a rain jacket on, and he don't even got the hood on.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the Cult of Thorn kidnapping not just Jamie's baby, but Danny as well, and taking Kara with them?
Now, that's the only thing that kind of confused me. Like, why exactly did they need Danny?
I think he was supposed to be like the next Michael. They said something about it moving on to the next person. And for anybody that doesn't know, I'll just shorten it real quick. They basically said that the reason that Michael kills is because he wants to bring balance to the conditions that afflict humanity. Whatever that means. I don't know, yeah. That was his motive for 1 through 6. So, oh well.
I honestly think that because everyone makes the case that the cult is controlling Michael, I don't buy that. I think that the reason they're trying to not just have Jamie have this baby, but get Danny as well, they're trying to make 2 new killers to take out the first one because they have no control over this sick bastard of Michael Myers.
I agree. I'll say this. Especially for 1 through 6. This is what I think happened. I think they got a hold of Michael somehow in part 1 off screen, and they talk to him and say, "Hey, you gotta do this to help your family. You want to help your family, right?" And he probably said, "Yeah, you know how 6-year-olds are." And I think he trusted them. That's how they were able to control him, because he trusted them, and they said, "Hey, look, we understand you. You know, we're your family. You're the Myers family isn't your family. We're your family." And they just brainwashed him, and they knew that he had something special with those supernatural powers, and they're like, "Oh, hey, this guy." I think Dr. Wynn is the one that saw it. He's like, "Oh, hey, this guy's got something."
Yeah.
So I think he was using them. And then when Michael overheard him, he just went berserk and just killed everyone.
Well, if you think about it, Dr. Wynn was more scarier than Michael. I mean, with all that he knows, and just imagine what he's been doing at Smith Grove all this time. I mean,
That's
he
true.
really,
That's
but
true.
I'm just saying, like, really, he been molding Michael for a long time and been planning this whole situation.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, if they were doing that to Michael, what other patients were they experimenting with?
Yeah, very true.
That's a good point. I think they were looking for somebody that might have had the ability, and they
Right.
said, "Okay, no, he doesn't have it. No, she doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. She doesn't have it." And then when they found him, they said, "Oh, bingo! It's this guy over here."
But really, wasn't it chosen? It's some deep stuff. Like, wasn't Michael chosen to
Yeah,
be that person?
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But they were
So
still. But that's what I'm saying. They were still looking for the chosen child. You know. So they were looking, and then they found him, and they said, "Oh, okay, here he is." But they lied to Michael, and they said, "Hey, we think you're special." And maybe Michael had some insecurities as a child. Maybe Judith ignored him or something like that. And they said, "Well, we think you're special, and you can do great things." And then so he just went home one night and just killed her, and so it begins. I
Yeah.
think they did it. They brainwashed them.
I don't know. I just like the whole coat of thorn thing. Yeah, I mean it's real deep and it's two layers. You know, it's Michael Myers, then there's this whole coat of thorn, and you know, it's almost like two different types of horror movie mixed in one.
I agree.
4, 5, and 6 are very, very amazing. They're really great films. Is there anything you guys want to add before we go?
Um, all I can say is I hope we get Halloween 9. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Halloween 9, and hopefully they go back to it. You know, eventually down the road, but
Mhm.
I doubt it.
I think there's a lot of talented writers out there who could write Halloween 9, and if they're willing to listen, then they should reach out to those people.
Yeah, and
You know,
hey, everyday horror. You never know. We might find out that Jamie Lloyd and Allison are cousins.
Mm. Oh man, I almost threw up.
oh no. You might find out that Jamie Lloyd is actually another daughter of Laurie Strode from another marriage. There you go.
But would y'all just imagine? I just want to see the fan base react. Like if Danielle Harris is in like Halloween Ends,
Oh man.
and take the spotlight from Allison.
Oh man. Hey,
like
don't you go there.
Oh,
Don't you say that to me.
oh,
I just love to see the fanboys like cry and go on.
Is this revenge because of what I said on Facebook?
Nah, I'm just talking.
That would so piss me off. You know,
And then they leave it on a cliffhanger, like Allison
oh, man.
Allison is killed, and then you know, no, Allison is not killed, but the person who saves Allison from being killed is Danielle Harris,
Oh man.
Laurie Strode's other daughter.
Wow. I don't know. Look. You joke, but understand something. They're crazy enough to do some shit like that. Like you never know. And it's
I think they reached out to Danielle Harris just to talk. It might not been nothing serious, but I feel like they probably done reached out.
yeah.
okay. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask the big question. Look at the elephant in the room, guys. There he is. Why do you think Danielle has been gone since RZH?
Um, she a B-list actor. I mean, there's only so much you can do with her. She was in Once Upon a Time Hollywood, whatever that movie was called.
I think there's a lot of reasons Danielle Harris has not returned to the Halloween franchise since RZH. Let's look at a history of Danielle Harris, okay? Of post Halloweens, okay? She wanted to come back for Halloween H2O. That didn't happen. Who did that have in it? Jamie Lee Curtis. Halloween Resurrection, she wanted to come back for that. That didn't happen. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis is in that movie, not a whole of a lot, but she's in that movie. After Rob Zombie, the next time we hear about her wanting to come back was when? 2018.
Who's in that movie?
Who's in that movie? Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's true.
That's
true.
Look, I don't think that's by accident. I do think, and again, this is just my opinion.
Yeah, I got you.
I think there's some sort of issue there. I don't know from whose side. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I also think too, another reason she hasn't been back is because of her too. Her attitude.
Yeah.
It's not the best she has had. I told you this. I was on Twitter. I was posting Dark Shadow stuff. And that was the day when that picture dropped of her, the girl who played Laurie in Rob Zombie's remake, and Tyler Mane. There's a picture where they're flipping the bird, and it said at the bottom, "Oh, this is this is to Blumhouse for not, for not putting this in a new Halloween. This is what we think of it, of not getting put in a new Halloween. And it's like, why the fuck would you do that?
I agree, but in her defense, I think maybe somebody might have made that meme. They might have made it into a meme and showed it to her, and then she posted it.
Right, but that's
oh wait, I see what you're. So you're saying, why would she post it even if it was just a meme?
Right, like
I see what you mean.
Like when you send me something, I don't go and post it, right?
No.
Same thing with if I send something to you, or if I send something to Ryan, or Ryan sends something to me. We're not like posting. Oh, look what this person. No.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a private conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see your point. I got you.
You know what I mean? If somebody to the audience more so, if somebody sent you a private message of a meme or a picture and put that, even if they had put the caption in there for you, why in God's green earth would you share that to Twitter? And I think she even tagged them in it.
Yeah, she definitely. Now she did that. She definitely did that.
She had no care in the world.
She definitely did that. No, Ryan, I respect you. You know that. I love you, but you got to admit she shouldn't have done that.
Nah, I already know, how she is. Even from the situation with the Curse of Michael Myers, I believe she was asking for way too much money, and they was like, "Look, we can only give you this much. Either take it or leave it." And she, I guess thought, "Hey, I did Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. I want this big money, this Jamie Lee Curtis money." and they were just like, "Well, we can just cast this girl JC Brandy or whatever her name is, and you ain't gonna be in the movie that long anyway, so why would you have a drama queen on set?"
Yeah. And I don't want to turn it into a Danielle bashing segment, because I'm not like that. I love and respect what she did. I just don't think it should be given freely. I think it's Andy's time now. But anyway, I will say this. Keep in mind, like Jules said, you're stupid if you don't think people are watching your past behavior.
Right.
You're dumb as hell. Because look at what she did with Halloween 6. She bashed 6 on commentary. She laughed at the fact that she had Michael's baby. Now, is incest wrong? Of course it is. Nobody's disputing that. Everyone here thinks it's wrong. It definitely is. That's going way too far.
Right.
Bro, I guarantee you, she wouldn't have thought the shit was stupid if she got a full length role, and you know it. She would have been all in. Like,
yeah, I feel the same way I feel about that is almost like these actors got too much power. Like even for like Ellie Cornell, I love her. She's a great actor, but a lot of people complain about that kill. She getting stabbed in the chest, but originally she was supposed to get stabbed down the throat. And she was like she didn't want to do that, and I'm like, that's a great kill. Why wouldn't you want? You're gonna die anyway, so.
That's true.
I just don't understand, some of these actors and.
Bro, and that's the thing. I'm such a big fan of your channel, and I hope you don't mind me telling other people, Drew. Please go subscribe to Everyday Horror. He's great. Such a huge fan. But you know me, bro. I had to keep it real. Like, she shouldn't have done that. Seriously. Jules, right? You're crazy if you think people aren't watching you online. And then she bashed Halloween 18 on Instagram. She bashed it. Like, her and Scout Compton were talking shit about Halloween 18.
Yeah.
You don't think they see that? That's so crazy.
She really, look, if she really wanted to be a part of, let's time travel a bit. If she really wanted to be a part of 2018, and somebody, let's see, somebody did ask her. It's because somebody did ask her, well, would you like to be part of the new movie? You know, she could have just said, hey, my door is always open to a return
Exactly.
if you know, and left it at that. No, she didn't do that. And you know, whether somebody sent her a meme or not, she not only sent it, she tagged them in it. And
Yeah.
it's like, why would you make a comment about flipping them the bird like that just because you didn't get put in a movie? You've been in a ton of movies.
Wait a minute. I just thought about something. Hold on a second. HalloweenMovies.com, that's run by Trancas.
Yeah.
Trancas runs that website, right?
Right.
So wait a minute. Technically, why the fuck would you tag Trancas and then bash? I guess Malika Todd, like he was probably face palming, like.
But you know, she did an interview with that Halloween, one of them Halloween movie news or something like that channel. She did a interview not too long ago on one of them channels.
Halloween movies. It was not necessarily the other one. Oh, Halloween Daily News, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
Daily News. Yeah. Oh, so I'm not sure if he officially connected with Halloween, but he got a lot of connections though.
yeah. I don't understand, like, why she would.
Right.
You're
But hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the bed. Kind of late, so
It
all right,
is.
bro. It was great talking with you as always.
oh yeah, it's always a pleasure talking Halloween with both of you guys. Y'all got great channels and great content and great ideas. So I like doing this.
Links to the Myers Fan 25 to at Everyday Horror Ryan Bauer's channel will be in the description box. Also, links to the Collinsport Historical Society. Patrick McRae's article will be in the description box. Go follow these two gentlemen on Twitter at the Myers Fan 25 at Everyday Horror, and go follow Patrick McRae at Real McRae. You guys have a great night.
Same
All
to
right.
you, bro. Thanks for having us on.
You're
Oh
welcome.
yeah. Peace out.
Peace. Bye.